Hey, thank you for listening. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. This is another Go At a podcast. If y'all listened to the first one, thank you very much. If not, check it out. This one is just going to be specifically for NFL and the NFL playoffs. For this podcast, we're going to have two special guests, two of my very best friends, two very knowledgeable guys about sports, Jonathan Kalanick, a.k.a. Tibbles, and Derringer Cormier, a.k.a. D. Swizzle. So without further ado, we'll jump right into it. And I apologize for the subpar audio. We did it over the phone. Hopefully y'all can get through it because the content is can't miss.
Okay. So here we are. We are going to go over the NFL playoff games this weekend. I've got some special guests here with me. If y'all want to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Derringer Cormier. Coley, it's great for you to have us on. I appreciate this opportunity.
And you got Jonathan Kalanick right here. Appreciate you having us, Coley. Always good to hear from you.
No problem, guys. No problem. Very excited to have y'all on for the first time and going to be a regular guest. So Jonathan is the professional sports handicapper. He's a Cousin Sal's cousin, per se.
With a little bit worse luck.
Yeah, he's one of the best sports bettors I've ever seen. As you can see in our college football spreadsheet.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. I wish it was a golf scoring system that we had set up. Because then I'd be doing
Derringer is fantasy football master. He finished second place right this year after an absolute abysmal start. So obvious.
2-6 start, 8-6 finish regular season. You know, that's no big. I just know to stay away from the college bets that I know you guys like to do, because betting on college games is just the biggest wild card I think you could do.
He sat down next to me when he was 2-6, and he said, "I have to win out to make the playoffs." And then he won 7 in a row.
That's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it was wild.
Just like fantasy playoffs. I mean, same thing. Same result, finished second both times this season. So awesome start for me. 2019 is a new leaf, though.
Very good, guys. All right. So we'll start with the Colts at the Texans. This is the Saturday 4:30 game. This is the third time they've played. The first time the Colts had a chance to tie it up at least and go home with a tie in overtime, but they played it extremely aggressively and ended up losing the game. And then the second time they played, they got them back. That was actually in Houston, so they won that one 24-21. So that was week 15. So what do y'all think? We got 10-6 Colts at 11-5 Texans.
You know, the Texans, they're an amazing team. They're all around good offensive defense. They struggle here and there, especially with inconsistency, in my opinion, on both sides of the ball. But if you see, they got off to an 0-4 start.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think 0-3, 0-4, something like that.
Won 7 straight after that,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I think the Texans, despite their inconsistency, at this moment in time, are a very hot team. I think Deshaun Watson has battled injury all season, but I think at this very moment, first round of the playoffs, wild card round, I think Deshaun Watson will step up and do whatever he has to do to get the job done. They just got weapons on offense. They've got very good defense, rushing and passing. They're going to have to do some scoring to beat the Colts. Andrew Luck. I know your opinion on Andrew Luck, Cole. You don't like him very much, but I think that Andrew Luck is still on the brink, maybe not there yet, but could be an elite type of quarterback. And he's faced injuries as well, but he's been healthier than ever right now. And I think that if Deshaun can stay healthy this game, and if the offensive line can protect him, then he's going to deliver a good performance, and their defense will stop the Colts in the or the Texans offense will win this game handily. And I like the spread by far. And
what is the spread, by the way, on this one? 6? No, that's
CBS says it's -2.5 Texans.
The Texas 2.5. All right. I agree with you on mostly everything you said. Cole, me and you kind of have the same opinion on Andrew Luck. We both think he's a little bit overrated, but he's second in the NFL in passing touchdowns this year. And Mahomes had 50 passing touchdowns, so no one's going to reach him. So you got to respect that from Andrew Luck. He's managed to stay healthy all year, which is honestly pretty impressive for him. Their biggest weapon on offense is T.Y. Hilton, 11 touchdowns, over 1,200, almost 1,300 yards. But I still think, like Derringer said, the Texans' offense, pretty solid defense as well. They ran up, what was that, 7? What did we decide? 7 wins in a row after that shaky start. Here's the stat that stands out to me. Deshaun Watson has been sacked the most in the NFL, which kind of tells you that they've been having some offensive line troubles. But despite that, they're 8th in rushing and they're middle of the pack in receiving, and of course they've got DeAndre Hopkins, who's got over 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns himself. Andrew Luck hasn't been in a playoff game since Deflategate, and Deshaun Watson hasn't been in a playoff game ever. So neither team has much experience. So I think Texans at home, in addition to what they can do on offense, will get the job done.
So you guys both taking the Texans?
That's correct.
T.Y. Hilton, by the way, I believe they say he's healthy and ready to go, but he's coming off injuries right now. His ankle, he's dealing with an ankle injury at the moment. And like Jonathan said, he's his biggest weapon. And if their biggest weapon is not fully healthy, then they are going to struggle against the mighty Texans defense.
He wasn't on the injury report that I saw.
Maybe not this week. Like I said, he's struggled with injuries over the last couple of weeks,
okay.
Especially his ankle, which is, if you're a receiver, that's an annoying injury to have. And so like you said, their greatest weapon, if he's not his 100%, they will mightily struggle.
Texans are tied for first in recovered fumbles. Their defense is, so that's another thing I'm looking at too.
Marlon Mack will fumble. But both of y'all said about Andrew Luck. Yeah, I know I said that. But this year, man, I'm telling you, I'm changing my tune. He definitely proved me wrong. I'm ready to ride him. But I do agree with y'all that the Texans, the fact that the Colts won the last one, that is definitely going against them. I can't see them winning twice in Houston. And then you got, the offensive line has held up this whole year. But, this is the third time that they're going to be going against Watt and Clowney. So, you got to figure those guys are going to figure out a way to get around these guys.
Luck will be hitting the floor a few times.
I think both quarterbacks are going to be hitting the floor a few times.
Oh, yeah. I think, what did y'all say the spread is? Is it 2.5?
2.5 according to CBS.
All right, if that gets above a field goal, if it gets to 3.5, I would take the Colts, the points. But I think the Texans will win by a field goal at the very end. This will be a very good game. I'm liking the Colts to hang in here. The Texans, I looked and see if Bill O'Brien has ever won a playoff game, and he actually has. He won in 2016 against, guess who? Marvin Lewis. So that one really doesn't.
There's a shock. He beat Marvin Lewis, the NFL playoff just mastermind and genius. Always finds ways to win games. Am I thinking of the right guy?
What's he, like 8-0 of losing playoff games?
Oh no. He's 0-7.
Oh,
he didn't get to his 8. He tried his best. So yeah, I'm taking Texans by field goal. I think we're all on the same page on that one. So naturally, the Colts will probably win.
It'll be, of course, it'll be a good one.
I think it'll be 10 to 17 point difference. Like I said, I like this. Yeah, I definitely do believe that long run come fourth quarter, it'll be a close game, but come early fourth, middle of the fourth, Texans will separate themselves and defeat the Colts.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a big game.
I agree with that. I should have prefaced this whole thing by saying I think all 4 of these games are good games for like the first time ever.
Do you mind if we go?
I got all but one are going to be close.
Can we talk about my favorite game next, if you mind, Coley? I don't want to throw you off.
You got it,
nothing,
man.
but
You got it. What game you got?
let's go 5 Seahawks at 4 Cowboys.
All right, that's that night. Saturday night, right after you're watching the Texans narrowly defeat the Colts, 4-10, as Andrew said. You got Seahawks 10-6 at the Cowboys, NFC East champ Cowboys 10-6 at Jerry World. Who you got?
All right. Well, as much as I like both of these teams, and I'll tell you why I like this matchup so much. I like this matchup more of any of the wild card round matchups because I think they are both teams that primarily run the ball. Seahawks lead the league in rushing.
You stole my fact. That was my fun fact that I was gonna.
I already had known that, son. But we got Ezekiel Elliott, who also on the other side of the ball, single-handedly when it comes to running backs, leads the league in rushing. They both have good quarterbacks who, apart from their legs, can sling the ball if need be. They've got both veteran coaches ready to win a wild card round in the playoffs. I think it's going to be the best game that we get to see. I think it's going to be a stout defensive matchup. Smash mouth football, just 4 quarters straight of it, and it's going to be just a great matchup between the tackles type of game. And I think the Cowboys are 7-2 since they have traded for Amari Cooper and are a very hot team and got a great defense with a very young and very capable offense of making big plays. And I think Dak Prescott has been slept on for most of the season. I think he's come to find out how he can actually run the ball along with throw the ball, and he's becoming more mature in his game. I think the Cowboys will come out with this game. Like I said, it's going to be the best matchup of the wild card in my opinion.
You got the Cowboys?
The Cowboys, yes,
Wow.
sir. And I think that the Cowboys, I think will have a great. Yes, sir. I think Jason Garrett, he's going to coach this team, and they're going to look good. Both teams are going to look good. I mean, Pete Carroll, Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett, the classic.
Yep. They're going to look great. Amari Cooper will have a good game, and I think it's just going to be one of those games that people pretend they don't want to see because it's low scoring, and some people nowadays, they'd rather see touchdowns left and right. They'd rather see Tyreek Hill streak 75 yards, but this game is going to be solid, and those who admire a well-fought smash mouth game are going to like this game.
Can I go?
I like that. That's true, dude. People say they don't want to see that, but they can't take their eyes off of it with those low-scoring games.
I can take my eyes off of it, certainly. And I think this game's going to be a snoozer as far as not a lot of points going to be scored. The Seahawks, Russell Wilson's tied for third in passing touchdowns, but as far as passing yards, I don't have the number in front of me.
Just because you're a stickler to me, I don't be a stickler to you. I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson's fourth.
I got tied for third in my notes.
All right.
But somewhere in that range. Like Derringer stole my big point, I was going to say Zeke is first in rushing, as we all know, 1,400 yards. But I was going to say, guess who's first in overall rushing? But now we already know that's the Seahawks, so thanks, Derringer.
That's
surprising to me. Yeah, that's a little surprising to me because all year, and I mean, really the past 3 or 4 years, they haven't had a true number one back. I mean, 1 week it's Chris Carson, the next week it's Mike Davis, and then a couple weeks after that, Rashad Penny has a huge game. So I thought it was kind of shocking that they finished first in rushing. Receiving, both teams are middle of the pack to bottom of the NFL. Amari Cooper, of course, Dallas got him in the middle of the season, and that was a big pickup for them. He's had some huge games, but he's pretty inconsistent. And his last few games haven't been trending upwards. I think the only way that I've got the Seahawks. Their defense is pretty good, and they're tied for first in fumble recoveries as well, along with the Texans. Of course, Cowboys have Leighton Vander Esch and DeMarcus Lawrence, who can both play coverage or rush the blitz and get after the quarterback and stuff. But the biggest thing for me is the Seahawks have a guy by the name of Pete Carroll, and in the playoffs, he's a magician, and Jason Garrett is not a magician.
He's a clapper.
I think Dallas is going to need Dak to step up. If of course Zeke, I think will rush for over 100 yards, but just depending on him by itself, I don't think is going to get it done. I don't think Dak can step up. Amari Cooper. Neither of them, have either of them been in a playoff game? I don't think they have. Dallas did not make the playoffs last year.
Thank you.
However, they made the playoffs the year before that was their first year. Remember the miraculous rookie year.
That was not with Dak. Was that Tony Romo? No, that was Dak. No. That's right. That was Dak's rookie.
That was Dak. So remember this game? They were winning, or they were losing the whole game. They came back in the fourth quarter and got the touchdown.
Who were they playing?
The Packers. And they gave the ball back to Rodgers with way too much time, and then Rodgers. They got in position to kick a field goal, and they won it at the end.
And they were the 1 seed in the NFC, I believe.
The Cowboys were 13 that year. 13, correct. They were 13-3.
Yep, and they lost at home.
So that's what I'm looking at right here. I mean, this is a mini version of that.
Yeah, it's going to be a close game, and then I think close games come down to coaching, and I'm taking Pete Carroll over Jason Garrett.
I agree. I think it'll be a ground attack for sure for both teams. Field goals are going to be important. Take the points, and I think that Pete Carroll's going to outcoach Garrett. You're right, and I mean Zeke is the best player on the field, but I mean there comes a point that you gotta throw that away, and these guys are going to be able to make plays on it. He can only run for so many yards, you know.
Right. I think Pete Carroll's going to tell them that if the Cowboys are going to beat them, they're going to have to do it with someone other than Ezekiel Elliott. And I don't know who's gonna. I don't see who can step up and win the game if it's not Zeke.
It looks
Dak's not gonna do it, man. I don't think he is.
No, I think he's a better rusher than he is passer, and I don't think he's that good of a rusher. So what do you think that?
Blake Jarwin will not get 3 TDs. I predict. He will not get 3 TDs.
You can't ever count Week 17 stats unless they're
unless of course we play the Week 17 championship.
Of course, yeah. Which my fantasy team, my best 2 players are Ezekiel Elliott and Christian McCaffrey, who combined played a total 6 minutes of football that day. But anyway, Jonathan mentioned a player who I did not when advocating for my Cowboys in this match. Not my Cowboys, but the Cowboys in this matchup. And it's
you sound like Skip Bayless.
I don't want to sound like him. Sorry. If I'm using it's got to be my Falcons, but I'm going to try to, refrain from saying that since they're just incredibly
rise up, baby.
I don't want to go there right now. But anyway, Leighton Vander Esch, if it wasn't for Saquon Barkley's incredible season, by the way, just amazing. I mean, he finished behind Ezekiel Elliott in rushing yards. I believe he led all running backs in scrimmage yards.
Yes.
And Saquon had a freak season. I think he'll be amazing years to come.
That's the thing. I don't think it's a freak season. I think this is one of his seasons that he's going to be able to reproduce.
Well, when I say freak season, I don't mean like he won't be able to reproduce it again. I'm just saying for a rookie to be able to do that, he's a freak.
He's a freak.
Yeah, exactly. But if it wasn't for Saquon, Leighton Vander Esch would be my first vote to win Rookie of the Year. This man is amazing. They drafted him to, just to make sure that their linebacker, when Sean Lee, who was inevitably
was going to have a head injury,
not play most of the season, would just fill his role. And he's done more than that, in my opinion. I think he will give the Seahawks in general, not just Russell Wilson, but I think he's just going to be there. You'll hear his name called on the tackle.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly a dozen times. If it's not him getting a tackle, it's him helping out, him, getting past.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's like Saquon on the other side of the ball. He is a freak of nature.
Is Vander Esch the best player on the Dallas defense?
Yeah.
I think he might be.
In my opinion, yes.
It's either him or DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence, I got to give it to DeMarcus Lawrence just because I'm a big veteran guy. He's good, and they kept it around. And like I said, they drafted Vander Esch. They had high hopes on him. They knew he was good in college, and I think he surprised everybody outside of the Dallas organization on his abilities. And I think that, like I said, you will hear his name being called a dozen times, and he will be one of the reasons why the Seahawks don't score more than, let's say, 17 to 20 points.
Okay, so
Hawks get the win.
Dallas.
I am taking Dallas, yes, sir.
I got Seattle on the road.
Tibbles and I have Seattle. All right, moving on to the Sunday games. We have the 12-4, San Diego. Here we go. Los Angeles. Sorry, that's say Los Angeles. Here we go. Carson City Chargers at 12-4, storming into Baltimore at 10-6. The Ravens. Who you got, Tibble?
All right. I got the Ravens. I see them as second in the NFL in rushing, and then on the other side of the ball, they're fourth in the NFL in stopping the rush. I'm big on the running game, setting the tone for the game. One thing that I skipped over, the injuries. Melvin Gordon's probably going to go. Eckler was limited in the last practice report that I saw. I expect him to go. Now, here's the thing. As far as passing is concerned, the Chargers are the better passing team, and it's pretty significant. They're 10th in the league in passing yards, and the Ravens are 22nd, so they're in the bottom of the NFL. But here's the thing. Their number one weapon is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen had a touchdown in week 1, and then he was held out of the end zone until week 10. That's 9 straight weeks. Or I guess if he scored in week 10, it'd be 8. But anyways, that's half the season. Then he had 5 straight weeks with a touchdown. And so that gets us to week 15, and then none since. So that to me, that stands out as inconsistency. And he's a big threat, obviously. But with those kind of numbers where he can't consistently score, he kind of gets on a roll and then drops off. I'm a little nervous about that. If Melvin Gordon can go, that's huge. Well, like I said, I think he will go, and that's going to be huge for the Chargers. They're going to have to depend on him a lot. But the Ravens can stop the run. They can run the ball with Lamar Jackson, but he's a rookie, and he hasn't even played all season. How many games has he started? 5, 6?
Yeah, probably about 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's impressed everybody that has watched the games. But at the end of the day, he's a rookie. Who's only has 6 games of NFL experience, and now he's asked to play a playoff game. So, but on the other hand, Rivers has started 9 playoff games, and he's 4-5. So for someone who's most likely a Hall of Famer, that's not a great record in the playoffs. I think the Ravens can stop the run, and I think they will, and I think they'll win this ball game. And I think it'll be another kind of low-scoring game. The Ravens will win by probably a field goal, probably no more than a touchdown, I would say.
I disagree. I think the Chargers will be the Ravens in this matchup. I think despite the Chargers being a 5 seed in the playoff picture at the moment, I think they have maybe not as great of a defense as the Ravens, but a defense with the ability to get them far into the playoffs. And I think that there's no one more deserving of a Super Bowl in the playoff picture than Philip Rivers.
I agree. He needs one, but I don't think he'll get it.
And
I would love to see him.
I don't think he will win the Super Bowl, but I have the Chargers not only beating the Ravens, but I have them in my next seeding predictions beating the Chiefs at home, the Chargers. And I think the Chargers have a healthy Melvin Gordon at the moment, who is also a very hungry and one of the, you got Todd Gurley, you got Melvin Gordon, you got Ezekiel Elliott, and, they're the top tier of running backs right now in the playoff picture. And I think Melvin Gordon will have the best production of those 3 in the playoffs. And I'm very high on the Chargers here. I think that Lamar Jackson will give the Chargers trouble despite him being a rookie. I think he is a phenomenal quarterback who gives any defense a trouble with his running and passing ability. He can sling the ball, he can run the ball, and his option game is, a lot better than some would think in this era of the NFL. I think the Ravens are a good team. They have a better defense. But at the end of the day, what I love about the NFL playoffs that separates itself from the, MLB or NBA is that the NFL, the round is decided when that game starts and when that game finishes. It's just one game. There's not a series.
Yeah. And
I love that because, it's any team's game. And I know that seeding matters because the home field advantage is a big part of the playoffs. But, 4 hours of play and if right players are motivated and right players, especially veterans like Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen, are motivated, and I know Keenan Allen, I agree what you said about the inconsistency of the team. He has been injured these last few weeks, or he got injured.
Yeah, he played through them, but he hasn't banged up.
And I mean, he did the exact same thing as he did last year. He had a very slow start. I mean, not receptions or receiving wise, but he didn't find the end zone that much at the beginning of last season too, and then had a phenomenal last month and a half of football, just like this season. I think Keenan Allen, I think Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, Bosa, and their defense. I think they're all going to play great, and I think the Chargers are going to win this game. I think it'll be close, like I said. I don't discredit Lamar Jackson or his abilities or the Ravens' defensive abilities, but I think the Chargers are more motivated and they got more veterans and are more able to win this game.
All right. So you
What
got
you
to
got,
split
Colton?
again.
Yep.
Let's see. This is going to be a good game, but it's going to come down to coaching experience, if you ask me. And John Harbaugh, 10-5 in the playoffs. I mean, you really can't go against that at home with that, like you said, the rushing attack. I mean, what are my three favorite things on a team? Rushing attack, good offensive line, good defense. They got all three of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
I
do.
mean, and they got the home field advantage, and they got a good coach. Those are just bonuses. So, I mean, as much as I would like to pick the Chargers and, I like to see them win, I like Anthony Lynn and I like Phillip Rivers, but, I mean, I see it. I can see a way it happens, of course. I mean, they're going to be aggressive on defense. But, I mean, they got the
Ravens?
No, the Chargers.
The Chargers?
Yeah. That's what they need to do at least. With they got Ingram, they got Bosa, they got the two rookies, James and
Hayward,
Leonard.
is he healthy?
Yeah, Hayward.
Leonard,
I mean, they have, like you said, they have a really good defense as well. They are two completely different types of defenses. These two teams. So, I mean, it's a contrast of styles for sure. And I mean, you got to take the coach and the home team on that. So. I'm going Ravens probably by 10 points. If it comes down to the end, I would have to take the Chargers. If the Chargers can hang all the way to the end and make it come down to the last possession and give the ball to Phillip Rivers, I think he'll be able to get it done. But I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Cole, that surprises me because wasn't it, 2-3 years ago you told me that the Chargers were notorious for losing games?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, this is Rivers' last go at it. They're not going to be in this position again. I mean,
I agree. I'm shocked they're 12-4.
He needs to win this, and he's got the motor, and I mean he's just playing a really good defense, and he can win. I mean, he's won playoff games. I said that he can win in the playoffs. He just can't win through the playoffs. And I still stand by that. If they get through this game, they're going to get killed because this is going to take everything out of them. This is going to be a fight, man. But
here's the thing. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you finish your thought.
I mean, Harbaugh. What was it? Halfway through the season when they were trying to push him out the door. You remember that, the Ravens?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, they love him so much because it's amazing how the narrative just changes. I mean, this guy was always one of the top 5 coaches in the league, and they were gonna fire him midway through the season. I mean, just because he lost a couple games and he had Joe Flacco in there, that was his problem. He was too stubborn to put in Jackson for a while, and Flacco got hurt. That's the only thing that caused this whole thing.
Yeah, so they got lucky, babe. That's what I was about to say.
Exactly. He messed that up.
Wouldn't have started
I'll
Lamar.
tell you that. But it's not a fireable offense. So
no.
So I mean,
how do you start Lamar Jackson over a healthy Joe Flacco? He's taking the Ravens to the Super Bowl. I don't think he can.
But you watch Flacco the first half of the season, and you can see that. I mean, it's just not the offense isn't built for him anymore. I mean, you just got to run the ball, and Jackson with this read option. I mean, can you imagine Flacco trying to run some of these plays that Jackson has been running?
Well, it's crazy how they completely changed the offense after Flacco got hurt. I mean, it's like watching a whole different team.
I guess that can't be done overnight, of course, but I mean, they did it just
so
in
they
time,
had these plays
because they were. I guess he got hurt just in time because they were one game away from missing it. They were actually They were one Baker Mayfield scramble away from missing the playoffs. So,
yeah,
I mean,
like you said, they were already transitioning to that running offense. They have for the last couple of years since losing Ray Rice. They've been trying to find running backs, and in doing so, they have just had a committee as a backfield. And for example, this year alone, they have a good amount of run. They're like the Seahawks. They just have a lot of good young running backs. I mean, they drafted Alex Collins. They've had Gus Edwards pulled up so they could run the option.
Traded for Ty Montgomery.
Buck Allen has proven worthy over the last couple of years he's been there. And trade for Ty Montgomery. I mean, like you said, they have been transitioning, and that's going to be a big part of this week's game is whether or not they could establish this run over the Chargers and see if the Chargers can shut down the running game, because I don't think Lamar is going to be efficient in the passing game if they can't establish a run. And so that's
I agree with that. I agree with that.
One of the biggest points is whether or not the Chargers can stop the Ravens' run, so they could also prevent Lamar Jackson in the air.
Here's the thing. I think for the Chargers to win, and this will be my last thing that I'll say about this game, for the Chargers to win, they're going to have to stop the run, because if they stop the run, I'm not sure if I feel comfortable with Lamar Jackson taking the passing the ball to win the game. So I think they need to send 5-6 guys after the quarterback to stop the run. And if they can stop the run, then they've got a chance to win. But like you said, and like Andrew said, it's going to take everything out of them.
Okay, the last thing I'll say about this one is in 2012 when the Ravens won the Super Bowl, they were 10-6 and won the AFC North. So that is
there you go. Ravens are Super Bowl 53 champions.
That's an interesting little thing to look at.
If anyone can win the Super Bowl besides the Chiefs, Rams, Saints, or Patriots, I'm a happy camper. I mean, I would love to see
Bears
something like that.
The Bears.
No, I'm saying
you have to put the Bears in there.
No, I'm saying if any of those teams don't win, that would be awesome to watch.
Right.
All right, so me and Tibbles agree with all three of the first picks, and Derringer, you had the Chargers on this one, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I know me and Tibbles definitely don't agree with this last one. We've got the 9-7 Eagles sneaking their way into the postseason, visiting Soldier Field and the mighty Chicago Bears at 12-4, 4:40 Sunday. Who you got? Who's going first?
I've got the Bears, and this is without a doubt. Don't even think twice about it. Take the Bears. 6-point favorites at home. Take them to cover it because of the defense. Their defense is probably the most incredible thing I've ever seen in a full NFL season. Here's a couple of stats that I researched. They're first in interceptions, first in defensive touchdowns, third in sacks. They've got Eddie Jackson. They've got a pretty good pass defense, and they're first in run defense, which we know the Eagles can't run the ball to begin with. So you combine that with the Bears' first run defense, and I don't think the Eagles will be able to run the ball at all. The only way that the Eagles can win this game is if Nick Foles takes over and he's got to throw for damn near 400 yards, I think. But the thing about that is the Eagles, their top receiver is Zach Ertz, and he's a tight end, which kind of frightens me. He's got 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he leads the team in both receiving yards and touchdowns. For the Eagles to win, Nick Foles has to take over, and he's got to throw the ball to Zach Ertz. He's got to throw the ball to Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And they got Golden State. But we saw what happened last year with Nick Foles in the same situation with Carson Wentz out for the playoffs. But I don't think he can do it again. we saw that Jared Goff couldn't do it against the Bears defense. The Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it against the Bears defense. Russell Wilson couldn't do it. I think the Bears win handedly. I don't think the Eagles score very many points at all. And I just think everything goes Chicago's way.
Okay, Derringer.
I'll take 50-50 on what he said. I think I'll start off by agreeing with him. I'll say that I believe the Bears will come out victorious. However, I do not believe they will win handily. I believe they will not win by a big margin, or I don't think they'll score many points at all. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I think that it's what you said earlier about the Chargers and the Ravens. I think it's going to be, just coaching strategy. You got Peterson in one corner and the Eagles in general at the moment, they weren't going to make the playoffs. It was 3 weeks ago. They needed a miracle.
Yeah, and they got it.
And they got it. They worked for it. And a team like that coming to the playoffs is going to be hard to beat no matter what. They're very dangerous. And when it comes to the NFL playoffs, especially like I mentioned before, where it's one game, one game you have 4 quarters worth of play to determine who goes on to the next round. Might not be who's better, but who is the hottest team is who I'll take any day of the week. Right now, I think the Eagles are hot. I don't believe they will beat the Bears, but I think it's going to be a very good defensive matchup. I think the Eagles line will get to Nick Foles, but I also think the Bears will make it very hard for Zach Ertz to get the ball at all.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the Bears linebackers will do a very good job on stopping Zach Ertz and Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan. And so I think it's a game where inches and yards, like we talked about, the Seahawks and Cowboys type of game, except instead of, running for those few yards, I think it's going to have to be passing for those few yards for these teams. Philly's run game, they've been decent with Josh Adams as their lead back right now.
Yeah, they got better when they started him.
And so I think if they establish the run, they will be solid. I think the Bears run, they have to establish that as well, because I think the Eagles, if they stop the Bears run, then it's not going to be that difficult for them to stop the passing game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won this game. I've got the Bears in this instance, but like I said, Golden Tate, I think, will be a very key factor in this game. Someone in the slot, someone to get those, 2-3 yards at a time when it's a necessity to do so. And I think it'll be smash mouth football, like I said about the Seahawks and Cowboys, something that I'm going to enjoy watching. I think the Bears will come out. I think it'll be a very close game, and that Trubisky will be tried right here, playing the reigning Super Bowl champions, and we will get to see what Trubisky's true colors are.
Cole, before you say anything, I want to kind of bounce off of what Derringer just said and add something of my own, if that's all right.
Sure.
He mentioned that the hottest team, I think that's the Bears. I don't think the Eagles are hot at all. The Bears have come into the playoffs winning 4 straight, and the Eagles can thank the Bears for even getting them into the playoffs. First of all, the Eagles beat the Redskins in Week 17, and then they had to watch the Bears, or they had to pray for the Bears to beat the Vikings, and I don't think anyone thought that the Vikings were going to upset the Bears. So yeah, I don't think that I gave the Eagles defensive line much respect, and I should have, because I think they're one of the best defensive lines in the league. But with the Bears defense, I really don't think that the Bears even have to score that many points. I think if the Bears can score 21, 24 points, they'll win this game handedly. And even the Eagles have a big advantage when it comes to coaching. Matt Nagy is going to be, I believe, making his debut in the playoffs in any capacity.
Coach of the year.
Well, he was the
definitely.
offensive coordinator for the Chiefs last year, and they laid an egg.
Right. So Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with his backup quarterback, and so that says something about what he can do as a coach. But I think it's not going to make much of a difference if the Bears can stop the Eagles consistently and force turnovers, and I think they will. I fully expect the Bears to intercept Nick Foles at least twice. I wouldn't be surprised if they scored a defensive touchdown. And like I said, I don't think much pressure at all is going to be on Mitchell Trubisky because of the defense.
Well, I have to agree that the Bears are the better team, but I'm telling you, one man will win this game for the Eagles. His name's Alshon Jeffrey. He will have
I like that.
in receptions, damn near 200 yards. He will go off in this game. And if you remember correctly, he was a Chicago Bear, and they did not have a very good ending. And he's the type of guy to lay it all out on the table. So him and Foles, I'm telling you, if it was Wentz in there, I wouldn't be saying that. But Foles, he loves Alshon, and I think that's going to be a big combination. And I agree that the Bears may get a pick six off of Trubisky or Foles, but I think the Eagles will get a pick six off of Trubisky. I don't see how you can say there's no pressure on Trubisky when this is his first playoff game, and like you said, they are expected to win. So I think that's a lot of pressure, if you ask me.
I think that's more pressure on the defense, honestly, and I think that Khalil Mack, Danny Trevathan, Roquan Smith, Eddie Jackson, and I'm sure I'm missing Akeem Hicks. I'm sure I'm missing a ton more names, but they've just got way too many weapons on defense. I mean, I don't see any way the Eagles can win this, to be honest with you. Aside from Alshon putting up 200 yards, which I don't think will happen.
Well, I think it'll come down to the end, and I think, like you guys have been saying, Peterson will outcoach Nagy. The Bears, this is just to be in this game. If they lose this game, they'll be viewed as disappointment. But just to be in this game and in this position was a really good season. They've got a future, very good future. They'll be in the Super Bowl, if not this season, in the next 2 or 3. So, I just think of the Eagles, they're playing off that emotion. They just won 3 in a row, and they got in the playoffs after winning the Super Bowl last year. That they want to defend that title.
Cole, I really like what you said about involving Alshon Jeffrey into the offense. I agree completely. If they can get Alshon going, it'll open up, Golden Tate, Zach Ertz, Aguilar on the long ball, and then, of course, the run game. But the only problem with that is Alshon has been shut down. He's been inconsistent.
Yeah. Hasn't he been hurt?
He's been dealing with injuries. He's played most of the time. He's just been inconsistent, and I think the Bears have a good enough defense to limit him. I think he will have a good game. I just don't think he will have a monster enough game to overcome what the Bears defense can limit the Eagles offense and then do what the Bears do on offense themselves. Tariq Cohen, by the way, we haven't mentioned.
Monster.
Who's arguably one of the most explosive players in the league.
Monster. And I love the short guys. So Tariq Cohen is one of my favorites. At a guy sitting here who has to get on his tippy toes to reach 5'10", I freaking love Tariq Cohen.
All right. So there you have it. Those are the 4 playoff games for this weekend. Tibbles and I disagree on one of the picks, and let's see, Derringer and I disagree on 3. And Derringer and Tibbles agree on the Bears beating the Eagles. I'm the lonely man on that one.
We both had the Texans, didn't we? Did you have the Colts?
Yeah, that was the only one we all agreed on. Was the
we all had the Texans. Okay.
And I was very tempted to take the Colts in that one. So I really think all these will be really good games. So then we're gonna hear from Derringer about his picks to win the divisional round and the conference round all the way up to the Super Bowl. Who you got?
All right. Earlier I said that I believe that Phillip Rivers was the most deserving player of a Super Bowl appearance, if not win, in the NFL at the moment. I think that Andy Reid, coaching-wise, is more deserving of a Super Bowl appearance or win than any other coach in the league. He's coming off a bye against who I believe will be a Chargers team in the divisional round. I think the Chargers will beat the Ravens. This is my one of my bold picks. And I think the Chargers will beat the Chiefs at home, or at Kansas City. Like I said, I think the Chiefs have the best offense in the league. You know, them and the Saints got great offenses, and I think that Mahomes MVP. On the other hand, they lost Kareem Hunt recently, and I think that's a big blow. Kareem Hunt was just one of the best steals in his draft. Just came on as a rookie and dominated. Came on as a sophomore, did not slump and dominated, and was let go. And now they're dealing with an ex-Miami Dolphins player and Damian Williams, and then a tried and true backup in Spencer Ware, but they still don't have the running back one caliber that you would like to see in offense like the Kansas City Chiefs have. Mahomes is great. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce are amazing. The offense is awesome, but I just think come playoff time in the NFL that you got to have the defense to win, especially playoff games. I mean, we saw the Rams and the Chiefs play each other earlier this season, and they dropped 105 points combined.
Was that what it was?
104, 105 points. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think it was like 51 to 53, 51, 54, something like that.
Did you take the over on that game?
I don't bet on sports games.
I probably took the under.
I told you
I
to take the over.
And as good as the Chiefs are,
I probably didn't listen.
And as much as the Chiefs can score, I think the Chargers have a good enough defense to limit the Chiefs to a solid enough margin where Phillip Rivers can come back and score. He's got his weapons, and I don't truly know if Keenan Allen's healthy, but he's still got Mike and Tyrell Williams.
Tyrell Williams, deep
Tyrell
threat.
Williams, and
The Williams
Melvin
brothers.
Gordon. Yeah,
Yeah, they got two of them.
sure. And I just think that the Chargers will beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, and I mean that's a bold prediction. See that the Chargers are coming into the playoffs with the 5 seed, but like I said, I mean as good as Mahomes, Kelce, and Tyreek are, their defense, they got some veterans, but they're not as healthy, and they allow big plays. And I mean I don't know if they'll be able to stop Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon, and Keenan Allen is healthy.
Can I tell you why I think you're wrong?
Yes, sir, you may.
Okay. But big statement about to be made. I think that the Chiefs are pretty much the New England Patriots. They're becoming that.
Oh, I disagree completely.
Well, let's start.
Completely different offenses.
Let's start with. Well, that's not exactly what I'm saying. Andy Reid is no Bill Belichick, but if there was some sort of fantasy football draft for head coach, if Bill Belichick was taken first, which he would be, who else would you take second other than Andy Reid?
I would take Andy Reid first. He's been one of my favorite coaches since he was on the Eagles.
I mean, I'm still gonna take Bill Belichick first, 5 Super Bowls, but Andy Reid is not that big of a step down, you know. Then let's look at the offense. They both have stud quarterbacks, and I get it. Tom Brady has 5 Super Bowls, and he's 41 years old, and he's playing. I mean, he is the best quarterback in the league. He's the best quarterback in history, if you ask me. But Patrick Mahomes, I get it, only his second year, but I mean, just the things he does on offense, it's phenomenal. He threw the ball with he can throw the ball with his left hand, and he can run. Tom Brady can't run that much. So, they both got stud quarterbacks, right? Neither team has that number one running back. The Chiefs did with Kareem Hunt. Now
Melvin Gordon is the top running back by
far. No, I'm talking Chiefs versus Patriots. Because my big
okay.
statement was the Chiefs are becoming the Patriots.
Well, but that's
well, let me finish.
NFL playoffs. You can't compare teams that
are
playing each other.
Well, okay, you got the Chargers playing them. I think eventually the Patriots. I think I got Patriots Chiefs AFC championship. That's what I'm saying.
I got Patriots Chargers, and I think the Patriots will win the AFC.
I think so too. But let me complete my thought here. Both of them now are doing a running back by committee. The Patriots have Rex Burkhead, Sony Michel, James White. The Chiefs have Spencer Ware, Damian Williams, and they've got another Williams dude. So that's pretty similar. Their offensive weapons, they've got, I mean, the Patriots have Edelman, the Chiefs have Tyreek Hill, and I think we can all agree Tyreek Hill's better than Julian Edelman.
But the roles as a receiver are different a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to keep critiquing you because you compare the teams.
That's fine. That's fine.
Edelman's a lot more of a slot-type receiver, inside threat. He's not going long ball like Tyreek Hill does, and he will beat the secondary safeties like he's jogging to do so.
That's fine. Then the Patriots have Rob Gronkowski. The Chiefs have, again, not that much of a step down in Travis Kelce.
Nope, step up nowadays. Gronkowski dealing with injuries. I'll take Kelce over Gronk nowadays.
Well, there you go. That helps me a little bit. And then we look at their defense, and they're both not, fantastic.
I think the Patriots defense are a lot better than the Chiefs defense. But like I said, I'm comparing the Chargers defense.
I know. I'm just saying that's why I think the Chiefs are going to win
and the Chargers
and go to the AFC Championship.
Here than the Patriots defense, though. If you're going to compare teams, then you can't compare the Patriots defense to the Chargers defense.
Why not?
Look at the amount of points per game that the Patriots allow compared to the Chargers.
I'm on it.
I mean, I think the Chargers defensively will topple what Kansas City can do defensively, and then if the Chargers can somewhat match the Chiefs' offense production, then they'll be straight.
Chiefs give up 26.3 points per game. Patriots give up 20.3, and the Chargers give up 20.6. So just right around there with the Patriots.
Then you got to also include that the Chargers have to play the Chiefs twice a year. So I didn't say that.
Because the Patriots have no competition in their division whatsoever. They're the only team with a winning record in that division.
Which, amazes me every year.
Yearly.
They have had this division.
Yearly, yeah.
And they still are able to beat the other best teams in the conference come playoff time. And that's why Belichick and Brady are just, gods at what they do. I think they're some of the greatest of all time, Hall of Famers by far, first ballot. And
is there a Hall of Fame for coaches?
Oh, yeah.
There is?
Surely.
Oh,
there
yeah.
is for
Same Hall of Fame.
There is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Bill Belichick is first ballot Hall of Famer then.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I don't think anyone's debating that. I think Andy Reid, I don't think anyone can,
he has to,
has Andy Reid won a Super Bowl?
Andy Reid has never won a Super Bowl.
He's gotten there once, but
with the Eagles?
Yeah. That's his big knock. So that's what I would love to see that happen. But I think the Patriots will beat him. I just think it's going to be the Patriots this year. I really do.
So you've got the Chargers getting into the AFC Championship. Who do the Patriots lose to? Texans? No,
the Patriots win this year. I got Patriots winning this year.
Oh.
What's
your AFC Championship?
My AFC Championship is Chargers, Patriots. My NFC Championship, I think.
So, and then the Patriots beat
going into the next topic, my NFC Championship is Bears Saints. I think that Goff, as good as we've seen him play, is inconsistent as a quarterback can get on a top-tier offense. I think it's going to rely on a lot of coaching, what McVay can do for him. Wade Phillips, as much as he brought that team up last year, on paper, I believe they're the best defensive team in the league, but they struggle. They have struggled in some matchups this season, and I think that it's going to be a defensive matchup when the Bears play the Rams. In my predictions, the Bears will lose to the Eagles, but I think it'll be Bears-Rams. I think the Bears will inevitably beat the Rams. It's going to be close. It's going to be a defensive matchup. Gurley will go off. I think that Nagy will get it done and be able to lead Trubisky. Trubisky, I think, will have a decent game against that Rams secondary, who has been struggling all season long despite their off-season acquisitions. And like I said, the Rams got the best defensive team on paper, and their line's insane. So it's going to be – it was a hard pick for me to make, but I think the Bears will inevitably beat the Rams, and then –
Again.
Again. But then coming in against the Saints on a bye, no, sir. I got the Saints-Patriots in my Super Bowl, and I got the Patriots winning. Because really, honestly, my honest opinion, and this is my bias coming in, I really cannot live to see the day where the New Orleans Saints win the Super Bowl in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, in Atlanta. That can't happen. It cannot happen. I'll tell you what. If the Saints win the Super Bowl in Atlanta, and then 2 weeks later we hire Darrell Bevel, oh my God. I can't even imagine what I'm going to do to myself. But it's not going to be good. It won't be good.
So you have the Patriots winning too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we both agree. Patriots over the Saints.
I think all three of us agree that the Patriots are winning the Super Bowl this season.
Correct. That's pretty awesome.
That is cool.
Especially for a year what did they go, 10-5?
Ask me what team I'd rather not win the Super Bowl all season.
Or, I mean, not 10-5.
The Patriots. But I think that they'll get it done. They always do.
Do they go, are they 11-5?
I think
10-6? 11-5?
I think they're 11-5.
And for a year that Tom Brady really hasn't looked like Tom Brady. But the fact, I still think they're going to, every other team I think has holes. The Saints defense is not great in my opinion. The Rams defense is not great in my opinion. The Chiefs, I think losing Kareem Hunt is huge, and their defense is a little bit sketchy. Who else? I mean, the Bears, I love their defense, but Trubisky, you've got a rookie head coach, not a rookie. Well, he is a rookie head coach, but he's also in the playoffs. So they've got experience going against them, and I mean, it's hard to pick against Tom Brady and Bill Belichick to me.
I agree.
Yeah, going off of earlier, my one of my bold predictions for this playoffs was that the Bears would beat the Rams, like I said. And here's why. The Bears. And even if they don't, the reason why I still think the Saints are going to go to the Super Bowl, which they would have to beat the Rams to do so.
Not necessarily.
Well, yeah. Well, let's say the Bears, they would have to beat the Bears or the Eagles, and I think the Rams could beat both of them. And if it's Bears Saints, I think it's going to be the Saints because the Rams are, like I said, Goff has been struggling, and Goff's been struggling with Gurley's production, and I think that the Rams, I mean, the Saints have one of the best run defenses in the league, despite having one of the worst
pass defense.
Yeah, pass defense in the league and just defense efficiency outputs. And I think that if they stop Gurley, then the Rams aren't going to be a hard team to beat and outscore. So I think the Rams will not win the NFC. I think the Saints won't be hard for the Saints to win the NFC because they're going to have a week to prepare for either the Eagles and the Bears. And I don't believe that they're going to have a hard time preparing for either one of them. And like I said, I like the Chargers over the Chiefs. I still like the Patriots over every team. The Patriots are tried and true. They got veterans, and they've got a solid defense. I mean, I feel like their defense is slept on. Tom Brady's never slept on. He's the GOAT, best player the NFL has ever been graced with. But, you know, as much as I'd like to see a team not named the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Rams, or the Saints to win the Super Bowl, it's not looking like that's going to be the case.
I'd like to see the Rams win the Super Bowl. I mean, I love Todd Gurley. I love pretty much everyone.
They're
on
a
that
young
team.
team. They're an interesting team. They would be a nice team to win the Super Bowl, but being an underdog type of sports lover that I am, and the hot start that they had, Sean McVay,
Sean McVay's got game management problems.
They're going to go to the championship.
He does.
A couple of times in the next
they'll
several
be
seasons.
They'll be there.
So I'm not worried about them not getting there in the future. So this year I would like to see another team win before the Rams dynasty begins.
I don't know about a Rams dynasty because the Bears are. I'm big on the Bears. I mean, that defense really scares me.
There can be a couple NFC dynasties.
The Rams and the Saints are the only ones that have a chance to beat the Bears defense, in my opinion. And I think Saints, Bears, NFC Championship. Saints win it.
Well, you got Bears. Wait, what did you say? Bears.
Saints, Bears.
The Saints win it.
Saints win it.
What's your AFC championship?
Probably. I haven't looked at it, but probably Patriots, Chiefs.
So we got 3 out of the 4.
Who do you got? Saints. Oh, you got Patriots, Chargers.
I got Patriots, Chargers, Saints.
Yeah.
Bears.
So I think you're too high on the Chargers.
I think the Chargers are slept on. They're underrated.
All right, Cole. Who you got?
They're ready. They're hungry.
I got the
Final four.
Seahawks knocking off the Rams.
I like that. I like that pick a lot.
They see each other a lot, so Pete Carroll's game planning.
They beat them once this year.
Did they?
Yeah.
They did. You're right.
But the only way they're gonna match up is the Eagles. pull it out. The Eagles have to pull it out in order for the Seahawks and Rams to meet. So we need the Eagles to pull that if you want to see that matchup. So I got the Eagles. I think they'll hang with the Saints, but at the end of the day, the Eagles will meet their demise finally, and Foles' magic will come to an end. Then I got Pete Carroll storming into the Superdome and ending the old Saints right where they belong, not even making the Super Bowl. Sending them home. Yeah, and then the Patriots dominating the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And then Tom Brady going back on what he said a couple weeks ago, retiring, going out, Belichick maybe as well, riding off into their horses. It's the year.
And then Josh McDaniels takes over?
Yep, but he's got to hold off. He's gonna agree to another head coaching job, and then Belichick's gonna retire. He'll be like, "Oh, Patriots."
Cole, I really like your Seahawks pick. I think they're a great team. They just in the wild card round they are playing the Cowboys, and if it wasn't,
I know they got to get by them.
If it wasn't for General Manager of the Year Jerry Jones signing Amari Cooper, I think the Seahawks could beat the Cowboys. I think they could go on win the next round, and that's a team that they're kind of in this era of the NFL where we've seen
they
a
go
progression towards the passing game. Yeah, seeing a run-heavy offense like that with a mobile quarterback who can also sling the ball with capable receivers, I love that team, the Seahawks, honestly, right now. I mean, their defense sucks. Their defense is not good. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's okay, but compared to what they were 2-3 years ago, it's hard to say they don't suck comparatively. And I mean, but their offense, I think, they're an underdog, and they're one of those teams who I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up winning the NFC this season.
Well, let me tell you this: no one is beating the Saints in New Orleans in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and you can take that to the bank. I'm a Falcons fan. I have to watch my team play in there once a year, and it feels like we never win because that crowd is insane. Even as high as I am on the Bears defense, I don't think anyone is stepping into New Orleans and coming out with a win besides the New Orleans Saints.
We'll see. I
can't wait.
I look forward to watching them fall. I really do. I've been waiting for it all.
With you, hopefully, and hopefully after we can do a post podcast of our comments.
Yeah, and we can
reflections of our predictions.
We can pose for pictures like we just got a turnover.
Yes, sir. All right, Cole, I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for having us, brother.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so that will complete our show for today. We got plenty of material on the NFL postseason. We actually were planning on combining this with other things such as the coaching carousels and college basketball, and of course the college football national championship preview that I'll be linking up with Kobe and creating a podcast for that, and that's going to be separate now because of the runtime of this extravagant playoff preview. So thank you for sticking around and listening, and special thanks to Derringer and Jonathan for coming on and giving their opinions and doing a really good job. We really appreciate that. They'll be on again, and in the future, if you want to come on just like them and have something to say, just let me know. You guys know how to reach me, and I'll be happy to have you all on. And if there's any way we can improve the show, again, let me know. I'm all about improvements and feedback. So thank you for listening, and enjoy the NFL games this weekend. Thank you for listening.